Well, this has been something I've certainly been looking forward to doing since I started making videos. Well, maybe not exactly, but this is definitely a video I'm excited to do because it's another recommendation for a video game. And this was actually my introduction to the Wanted series, like the comic and the movie. Like, I hadn't seen either of those yet until I played this game. This was back in 20. Well, it was released for the consoles in 2009, so I didn't play it till a year or so later when I was, I think, a sophomore. Like, I was still in ROTC back then, so this was after my freshman year. And the game is basically called Wanted Weapons of Fate, and to best describe it would be, the Wanted movie with, what was his name? I forget his name. He plays young Professor X. Well, that one and Angelina Jolie. This game is like a sequel to that movie, and it's probably the closest we'll ever get to a sequel to that movie, which sucks because that movie was almost perfecto to me. And this was a third-person shooter, first developed and published by iPlay in 2008, but that was for mobile, before being developed by Grin and published by Warner Bros. Interactive, and distributed by Universal Studios in 2009 based on the film of the same name. And yeah, it was developed by Grin and published by Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment. Directors Ulf Anderson and Saul Gascon Barba. Don't know if I'm pronouncing this name right. Produced by Christina Paradis. Again, probably pronouncing that name wrong. Programmed by Pierre Terdeman. Artist Roger Calvet. Composed by Trond Viggo Melson and Danny Elfman. Holy shit, Danny Elfman. Holy shit. Did not know that. Anyway, engine, the diesel engine. The platforms it was used on were the mobile phone, Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. And yeah, that's about it. It was a single player game, and like there was a lot of things to love about this game. Like it was schlock in some respects, but it was really good schlock. Like if I had to give this thing a rating, 4 out of 5. It's almost a 4.5 out of 5. It's almost a 5 in my opinion. For a schlock game, at least. Like, it wasn't perfection by other standards, but it was really fun. It had replayability. And I think you can still find this for the PC still. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. And it's set about 5 hours after the events of the film, after he shot Sloane. Spoilers for a movie that came out, I think, a decade or two or more ago. And he's continuing his transformation to a fully fledged. Wesley Gibson is continuing his transformation into a full-fledged assassin and heir to the legacy of the secret fraternity of assassins. But in the movie, there was the whole revelation of who his father was. In this game, you learn more about his father. How in the movie version, how he became kind of a renegade, and how he had a falling out with the American fraternity of the assassins. And you also learn about his mother and what happened to her and why she was not involved in his... Like, the movie and game, they deviate greatly from the comics in some respects. So there's some demarcations that need to be made there. If you've played the comics or read the comics, you're probably going to see some stuff in here that makes no sense. And the main antagonist of this game is a guy called the Immortal, a frog. No way around it, because the enemies in this game are a part of the, I believe, Barcelona fraternity, the French branch of the fraternity. And they're after Wesley Gibson because he is, and some spoilers are going to be heavy on this one, he is what they would consider an abomination. Both of his parents were assassins in the fraternity. That was not allowed. You could not, I think, marry or impregnate someone who was also an assassin. For some reason, I have no idea why. Them were just the breaks. So, and you learn some other interesting stuff, like the fact that some people, I think this did this in the movie, like you could have a bullet with your name on it. You find out when Wesley was still an infant, there was a bullet with his name already on it. Let's put it that way. And he wakes up 5 hours after killing Sloan to find cops ransacking his dad's apartment, which he is now living in. And there are a lot of good lines on this. My favorite one is still, I think it was Wesley said, 6 months ago, if I woke up to cops rummaging through my place, I probably would have been pissing myself and trying not to let them see me cry. But all that can happen in a short period of time. And there's some funny lines. Like, one was after he didn't kill, he caused one antagonist to fall to her death. He's like, I gotta tell you, I wouldn't have minded making her scream another way, but what the heck, at least her ankles were skyward. And this was stuff that flew right over my head at the time, because I was an introvert, wasn't keen or privy to certain things, or also didn't really care about that sort of stuff back then. But there were lots of good weapons in this game. My favorites, these are still two of my favorite weapons to this day, which is the FRF2 sniper rifle and a Beretta with a compensator. Actually, my favorite thing about this game was the compensator he uses as the starting weapon of the game, which he actually had in the movie, but he lost when after he fell out of a train into some water. And the third weapon was like a pair of custom CZ75s that were full auto and had suppressors on them. These were called the Fire Eaters. The Beretta was called the Fly Swatter, as a reference to the scene where he shot the wings off of a fly in the movie. And the FRF2 doesn't really get a name. It's just something he uses from time to time in certain sections of the game. And it was fun, although there are two different endings. So if you don't want to be spoiled even more, this is where I would say just walk away. Actually, don't walk away, because there are two different endings. One is, it ends with him shooting the Immortal. The other ends with him missing and just peeing on him. I'll just let you decide which one's more preferable. But I think it was based on whether you had a console or a PC that got you the specific ending. And I think that was about it I wanted to say, other than, the dialogue's not bad. And they were also working on a sequel. They were, until the company or developer who worked on it got shut down. One bonus, I think, for comic people is the suit that Wesley has in the comics. He gets that in the game. That was missing from the movie. And this game has really had a weird influence on me for some reason. Mainly the weapons, because every time I tried to write a story with guns, I always want to give the main protagonist the Fly Swatter pistol, or the model and how it's customized. And I always want them to use the FRF2 for some reason. If it's science fiction, or a supernatural story, or... just those two mainly. I always want them to have that gun, because that has become my favorite pistol since seeing this game and learning about guns in 2011 or 2010, I believe. No, 2011, I think. And I think that's about it. That's all I can really say, other than it's got some humor in it that I really liked. Another funny line of his was when he was going to confront the Immortal, he found out that he was in a church and he was at the top of a bell tower, and he goes, "Effing French, so melodramatic." Then he says, "I'm going to make him pay for making me walk every single one of these stairs." He was really pissed about that, and I loved it. It was really fun. It also had this weird philosophical debate at the end, which it's not much philosophy, but I thought it was deep at the time. So if you're just looking for something to play over and over and just to piss away some time, find this game. You can, if you still have a PS3, I think you can get it still, but you probably have to buy it online. It might be available for the PC. It's no longer available on the Xbox. I've looked. I should probably check again just to see. But yeah, that's about it. Oh, the abilities. You have two abilities in this game that came from the movies and also the comics. You can curve bullets, but that's kind of depends on if you have access to a certain amount of the bar Like, I think if you shoot enough people, you get the ability to curve bullets, and you also have an adrenaline rush, which takes two of the, like, the bar is like the back of two bullets, and it takes two of the back of bullets to do an adrenaline rush. It was fun. I loved using that move. I loved the fact there was a cheat code that gave you unlimited adrenaline rush, and you could just rush through there in slow-mo, shooting everyone in the head, just kicking ass and taking aims. Also, there was a knife, but that was a pain in the ass to use. Anyway, that's all I can really say about the game so far. Yeah, no, if you just want to have a good time and shoot some stuff and do stuff that makes no sense whatsoever, then yes, track down this game for your computer and play it if it's still available. I have no idea if it's available for the PC still. It might be. If it is, for the love of God, get it. You will have some fun at the very least. Also play 1 Week by Bare Naked Ladies while you're at it, because for some reason those two just went hand in hand for me. But yeah, that's it. Have a nice day. Remember, the game was rigged from the start, and yeah, bye.